Hello everyone, welcome to Jacqs Scraps. Thank you for joining me for What a Card Wednesday. Today we are using the Cardmaker and Papercraft Magazine issue 180 and it says March. The card that we will be making is for Mother's Day right here. It will resemble that. So let's get started. For today's card, I've decided to use Bo Bunny's Secret Garden collection, which I recently purchased. I will be using one sheet out of the 6x6, but you could certainly take them both out of the 12x12. I'm using this one here of lilacs. When I was growing up, we had a lilac bush outside of our house, and when in the summertime the breeze would bring the smell of the flowers into our home, and it was lovely. And so I know my mother would love lilacs, so I think I might be making this card for her. From the 12x12 pad, I've taken out this particular page, and the first thing I've done is cut it down to a size here of 6x6. So when you start out, you'll have two 6x6s, and next we're going to cut this down. For our 6x6 decorative page, I've decided to cut that down to 3 3/4, and we'll be using the bigger size. Next, I am using a doily punch from Martha Stewart's. If you have any other type of punch that you would like to use, feel free to do so. I'm going to punch on both sides of the card. Now they don't do that in their design, but that's something that I wanted to do. You don't have to do that. If you don't want to use a decorative edge, then cut down your paper to 2 3/4 inch, where we are doing it with the decorative punching at 3 3/4 inch. I've went ahead and punched my sides, and as I was doing that, I was thinking you could also use decorative scissors if you have those as well. The next thing we're going to do is use organza ribbon or any type of ribbon that you may have. I'm using this ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree. I just love it. It's purple, and then it has silver metallic on each side of the ribbon. It is much thinner than what they use in the photo, but after looking at it, I kind of like that, and I think the metallic makes it, almost bigger than it is because of the shine that it gives. So I think it's all going to work out in the end. I'm going to cut this down to about 7 inches, lay it down the center of the floral design, and wrap it around the back of the card, and then you want to tape it down on the back of the card. Okay? To find the center of the decorative paper, I've turned it over. Using my Tim Holtz ruler, I put the 0 in the middle to then determine where the center is, and made a little pencil mark. Again, you don't have to do that. I'm just being a little bit exact. A fault of mine. So then that way you can line up where the ribbon folds over, and then you can just use some ordinary tape if you have it, or any other kind of tape that you might have. This isn't going to be seen because it will be adhered to the base. Okay? So this is what it looks like when it's done. These are just taped down, and here is the front of the decorative paper. Now if you want to, you could always put a little piece of glue or a little dab of glue on here and adhere that down. So this is what it will look like when we glue this down to our base page here, like that. So you can go ahead and glue that down. I just use my art glitter glue since it is a thicker decorative paper, and I'm going to burnish that down. And there's that part of it. Okay, now we're going to layer the elements on top of our card base. And I thought about initially adding this here, but I didn't really like it in the end. That was from K&Co. And then I came across this cute little label that says "Love You" on it. It actually has some treatment on it, and that was from K&Co as well. And this is all of the like labels or sentiments kit. So what I've decided to do was use this Bo Bunny chipboard stickers, and I'm using this big piece here. And I'm going to lay that across the card here. I really like that flourish. And then I found a vellum die cut from another K&Co, and they don't really have names on. Well, this one says botanicals. The label one said floral, so it doesn't make any sense to me. And so I thought I would layer it like this. I'll use some foam tape and put the vellum piece up as well as for the label. And then on the inside, that's where it can say Happy Mother's Day. So I'm going to get all this adhered down, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have used Sticky Thumb 0.5 dots and added one to this sentiment here. And then for the vellum piece or acetate piece, I doubled it up. And so I used 2 per each point that I put with the flower there, so that it gives it some nice dimension. And then I created a little bow using my fork. I know the fork method to creating bows, and I made that little bow there. I think that looks really cute. So that is the front of our card. So in case you're wondering how to do the little bow, if you just take a fork, you start with the ribbon across the bottom of it, wrap it around to the back, and then hold your thumb here. Take the ribbon, put it down into the center spoke or hole of the fork. Whoops, don't pull that tight. Leave a loop here. Take the ribbon to the center of the fork and put the ribbon into the hole that you left. And then you pull. Make it tight on both sides. And there you have it. A cute little bow. Here's another one that I made. I just doubled up and used 2 ribbons at the same time. For the card base, I'm going to take a 12 by 12 sheet of white cardstock and cut it by 6 inches. I should have mentioned that on the supply list in the last video, but I didn't realize it at the time what I actually needed. So for the card base, a 12 by 12 cut in half. Next, what you'll do is take your 6 by 12 and put it on the long side and score at 6. And then we will fold that and burnish. to add this to our white cardstock, I used Suquane or score tape. And we're just going to go ahead and line this up and push down. Just giving it a little burnish here. I did put some in the center. And there we go. For the inside of our card, I decided to use the other part of the 6x6 that we cut off, and I've added score tape to the back side, and I'm just going to add it here on the inside. For another part of the inside of the card, what I decided to do was take this piece that we used and do some fussy cutting around so that it could be placed on the edge but not look like a strip, so it would just kind of have some weaving to it. Okay, so here's what it looks like after I got done cutting it out. And I've used the grape jelly by Memento to go around it as well as the card base. Using the ink around the image actually gives it some dimension, but also blends right into the background. So here's our final card, the front and the inside. I'm really happy with that. It turned out really well. For the envelope, I'm going to use another piece from the 12 by 12, and we're going to cut that down to 9.5 by 9.5 if you are using your envelope punch board. Using our board, it says that the score line is 4 3/4. I'm not sure if this page actually has a direction. It looks good no matter where you put it. Okay, we're going to fold everything in and burnish. Now remember, last time I mentioned that there had to be a certain way to fold these, so let's make sure we have it going the right direction. That looks right. Now that we have it all glued, let's just double check it. Perfect. So I wanted to put like a little label or something here on the front. Okay, I've cut this little cut apart from the paper pad out, and I got a doily. So I'm going to layer the doily on there as well as the card. I think that will do it. So there you have it, everyone. Here's our finished envelope and our finished card. Thank you for joining me today for this What a Card Wednesday. I'll see you next time.